It's the calm before another storm hits us here in Northern California. It has been 3 days since the New Year's Eve storm, and crews, you already know, they are still working around the clock to clean up this mess. Huge trees are blocking roads, and headstones at an East Sacramento cemetery are ripped out of the ground with downed trees. And to top it all off, thousands of people in Northern California are still without power tonight. And we know that this is more than just an inconvenience for those who are still in the dark. It can range from expensive to just downright dangerous for folks who rely on electricity to power medical devices. And you can see right here that there are still a lot of outages with PG&E in our region. The Delta has been hit particularly hard. And more than 1,300 SMUD customers are still without power. Neighborhoods like Arden, Cortland, Galton, Land Park are reporting more than 100 outages each. And one Fair Oaks family who has been without power for now close to 3 days, they reached out to us. So we went over to see them to see what conditions they are facing and why they are really nervous about the coming storm.
It was about quarter till midnight, and then all of a sudden, everything went black.
Jack DeLay is part of a 51-home outage in Fair Oaks that SMUD says is due to damaged equipment and DeLay calls expensive. He and his wife are on a fixed income.
Yeah, we're retired.
And say they've spent more than $100 on dining out for their meals for the last 2.5 days as the food in their kitchen fridge goes to waste.
The one in the kitchen. Everything's gone.
But sitting in the dark and the cost of food pale in comparison to this.
My biggest fear now is the rain.
That's because the pump that empties his backyard pool is powered by electricity.
My pool is that far from overfilling now. I just emptied it the day before, but of course we had a lot more rain than I thought. That overflows, comes down here. I could be in some serious trouble. Prior to the rain event, it was about 7 inches below the bottom of the brick level, and this filled up to this level in a matter of 3 to 4 hours. This next one coming in is supposed to be even worse.
As he waits for the power to come back on, he's glad he has flood insurance ahead of this next storm.
I can't imagine what I'd be doing. Duct tape?
Jack, let's hope it doesn't come to that. All right, and we did learn today that SMUD is assisting for some losses, like food that went bad in the fridge due to these power outages. Jack was very excited to hear about this, so of course we wanted to share it with you too. The utilities says that if damages are caused by its negligence, then it will take responsibility for the loss. But a lot of the damage from this weekend falls under things that SMUD calls out of their control. That includes the scenarios like floods, wind, heat, snow, and fallen trees. More scenarios not covered are listed on your screen right now. And tonight we reached out to SMUD for more information about what may apply from this storm. Now, SMUD tells us that they are working with customers on an ongoing individual basis to address certain claims. They also say that they are handing out batteries, foods, blankets, and a lot more. We have more information on SMUD at abc10.com/to-the-point. And we've also got a whole list of resources we have been compiling all day to really make sure that you are prepared for this next incoming storm. All you have to do is just text the word storm to 916-321-3310. We'll send you everything that you need to know straight to your phone. With all that being said, let's get straight to Brendan Minchev, who joins us now. Brendan, what do we really have rolling in here?
Yeah, we've got another major storm on the way in. What we had yesterday was really just barely anything compared to what is coming. For the rest of this evening, just some drizzle potentially, not any rain through the overnight hours. So if you are still planning on making some storm preps, maybe going out to the store to get some non-perishable items in case of power outages, still good to do that. But as we look towards tomorrow morning, that rain is going to be coming in pretty early. Once we get towards 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, the first rain bands will start to make their way in. The first set of rain associated with a warm front making its way north. So this will be rain, but it won't be quite as heavy as what we'll see later on in the day. After that, the winds will really start to pick up behind the warm front out of the south, and you can see the heavier rain associated with a cold front moving on in later in the afternoon. And again, you can see that's a much heavier band of rain with a lot more orange and red in there. And that moves through the evening hours, and winds will be whipping through the evening hours as well. Even beyond that cold front, once it pushes on through and we get to Thursday morning, still going to be dealing with some rain, albeit more spotty rain showers than what we will see on Wednesday. Flood watch for Wednesday morning through Friday morning because of all that rain that we're going to see. And rivers like the Cosumnes and McKellamne, they're already running high. they're only going to be running higher. Flash flood watch tonight through Friday morning. This is for debris flow and not necessarily for everywhere in green, but more specifically for the burn scars in these areas, such as the mosquito fire burn scar. But the other thing is the wind. I talked about it before. High wind warning from 10 a.m. Tomorrow morning through Thursday, because look at some of these wind gusts up over 40 miles an hour, potentially as fast as 60-mile-an-hour gusts in the valley. We'll talk more about this later in the show, Alex.
All right, and there are steps that you can take to help keep your home safe ahead of the next storm. So first and foremost, like Brendan just told us, the wind from the next storm are coming from the south and blowing north. So do not park your car on the north side of large trees if you can avoid it. Now, you can also clean the leaves out of your gutters and storm drains to help water flow away from your house. And if you have time, you'll want to weatherproof windows and doors. If you can feel a draft from a window, that means it could leak. And then finally, make sure that you check your home and renter's insurance policy, see what you have coverage for. And if you have any questions, make sure that you are reaching out to your agent. Now, just a few hours ago, Sacramento County approved a state of emergency that was declared for the county over the weekend. The head of Sacramento County's Office of Emergency Services explains why this is so important.
We don't know what to expect with this next storm. So we're going to have to take a look at conditions as the storm arrives. This is going to be a very impactful storm with high winds. We expect trees to come down, and we want to make sure wherever we're sending people, it's going to be safe.
Yeah, and the proclamation will last for at least 60 days. It allows the county to use any services, property, or personnel of the county to help mitigate flooding. Sacramento County can also now ask federal and state agencies for more funding, manpower, or equipment. Other local counties, including San Joaquin and El Dorado counties, have also declared emergencies. Now, the New Year's Eve storm caused multiple breaches on the levees, leading to all of that flooding that we saw in Wilton and Highway 99. But who exactly is responsible for repairing those levees? This is a video of where those levee breaches are in Wilton, and tonight, Sacramento County tells us that breaks and breaches happen on Reclamation District properties and private properties. For levees that need repair on private properties, because they are a threat to life, the government will work with property owner to sign a right of entry form and then works with contractors to actually do the repairs. And we are working to find out where the breaches in Wilton actually happened. But meanwhile, because of the breaches, the Sacramento County Sheriff's Office evacuated the Rio Cosumnes Correctional Facility. Today, a tiger dam was installed around the facility to prevent damage from the incoming storm. And on Sunday, more than 1,000 inmates and staff were evacuated due to flooding. And then after the break, Sacramento County is closing their parks tomorrow. I got a firsthand look at the damage that has already been done. All right, take a look at this. This is just one of the many trees that you've probably already seen around town that is blocking roadways or even your favorite walking trail. And this is also one of the main reasons that Sacramento County Parks and Recreation announced just hours ago that it is closing all parks within its jurisdiction. Now, the closures start tomorrow. No one is allowed in the parks. That includes unhoused people who live in the parks. I got a firsthand look from the county at how they are preparing for the closures and also the biggest concerns that county maintenance crews have as they are still dealing with the damage from the last storm. And why make this call, to shut down all the parks?
Well, we just had a storm pass through and it really saturated all of the soil. So the storm that's coming in, we're expecting more winds, more rain, and we're just concerned that we may lose significantly more trees than we already have.
So for the past couple days, in the last storm we had about 50 trees come down throughout our parkway.
Is that significant?
That is very significant.
And what are you expecting for this next storm coming in? What are you guys doing?
So with more rain and more wind coming, the ground is saturated, and so we're really concerned we're going to lose a lot more trees. So safety being our number one concern, we're concerned of a lot of trees coming down in this next storm.
And have you seen a lot of trees impacting anything already? Has it damaged, any of the restrooms or tables or anything like that?
Absolutely. We had trees come down just behind us here. We lost a table and a couple garbage cans. And yeah, we have trees across the bike trail that we've mitigated. But yeah, quite a few down on the parkway right now.
Any major concerns for you guys right now?
Our main concern now is getting ready for this next storm, clearing as much of the tree and debris as we can so that when the next storm hits, we're ready and we can do more clearing and keeping these parks safe for the public.
So what do the next 48 to 72 hours look like for you guys?
So we're actually working 10-hour shifts, so we're doing overtime for all of our parks workers. Our main concern is keeping these parks safe. We have quite a bit of tree work, not just the trees behind us, but there's a lot more trees in the parkway that we need to get to this week. You want to give us a hand?
Yeah, absolutely. And I did want to ask you, is that an oak tree right there?
Yep, these are all oaks that came down.
Oh my gosh,
These are
so
live
that's
oaks.
actually from the storm.
Yes.
And how long will the parks be closed?
You know, that kind of depends on the extent of the storm damage and what the storm decides to do. We have them planned to be closed Wednesday and Thursday with the potential to also be closed on Friday.
A huge shout out to everyone that's working to clean up our area. We really do appreciate it. I also want to mention that San Joaquin County Parks is also closing all parks starting tomorrow. All Stockton parks are now closed to the public due to tree hazards, according to city officials. And when we come back, Brendan Minchev is breaking down all the crazy weather that is coming our way. Brendan, in one word, how would you describe it?
I'm going to cheat. I'm going to go 2 words. I'm going to go wet. I'm going to go windy.
Oh, good words, good words. All right, we'll be right back after this. All right, let's get to meteorologist Brendan Minchev again. Brendan, we just can't catch a break. What do we have coming our way?
Yeah, I mean, we're past the point where it's like, oh, yay, it's raining to, this is becoming a problem. This is a lot of rain we're getting. Right now, tonight, if you're planning on going to the store, getting some non-perishable items, prepping for the flood, prepping for rain, anything like that, good night to do it. Just a little bit of drizzle out there, some light showers, especially out towards the Bay Area right now. But tomorrow, it's a totally different story. 57 for high in Sacramento tomorrow, 58 in Elk Grove, 56 Stockton, 54 Modesto. But the bigger, more important story is rain, wind, and snow that all arrives tomorrow. So let's get right to it. In the Futurecast here, you'll see overnight tonight, it'll be fine. But by the time we get to Wednesday morning, 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m., that's where we're going to see those first showers start to make their way in from kind of the southwest to kind of northeast. It's kind of a little bit of a different pattern with this storm coming from this direction up over here, as you'll see, because this first one's associated with a warm front. So we'll get some rain, we'll get some snow as well. Winter storm warning, high wind warning, all that stuff comes in tomorrow. But you'll see that first band of rain arrives through the morning commute hours tomorrow before maybe even a little bit clearing through the afternoon in terms of rain. It will still be cloudy. Those winds will pick up through the afternoon and continue to increase through the evening hours. And then the heavier rain associated with the cold front that you see here, that'll push in as we work through the evening hours and into the overnight hours tomorrow. So it's going to be really windy, and it's going to be pouring rain through the evening and parts of the overnight as well until that cold front moves on through. Then it'll be more spotty. So still, for the Thursday morning commute, we'll be dealing with some rain and snow as well. Winter storm warning from Wednesday morning to Friday morning. Heavy, wet snow, 18 to 36 inches of it above about 6,000 feet. And you'll see that here on the model data, looking at about 18 to 36 inches across the Sierra tomorrow and Thursday. Flood watch for Wednesday morning through Friday morning for everywhere in green. Excessive runoff, flooding of rivers, creeks, streams, low-lying areas, ponding on the roadways, parking lots. Rivers will be running high and fast, as they already are. Flash flood watch for the burn scar areas that you see here on your screen, particularly the Mosquito Fire burn scar, August Complex burn scar, Caldor burn scar. Not necessarily for everywhere you see in green, but very particularly for those burn scar areas. In terms of rainfall over the next 7 days, 4 to 5 inches possible, not just with this storm, but with all the storms to come over the next 7 days. But it also will be very windy. High wind warning from 10 a.m. tomorrow through 4 p.m. on Thursday, gusting up to 60 miles per hour. So by the time we get to the sunrise morning commute tomorrow, you'll see those winds, especially in the San Joaquin Valley, gusting upwards of 30 and then gusting upwards of 35 to 40, even closer to 60 miles per hour at times, especially Wednesday evening through the overnight hours. The wind will only increase as we go through the afternoon tomorrow, and it won't be until Thursday in the afternoon hours that we finally start to see those winds die back down. So take the rain seriously. The Pineapple Express, the atmospheric river, it is full steam ahead right now. There's no end in sight to our rainy pattern, even as we work into the middle of the month with significant rainfall in the forecast. So prepare now for flooding. Have a go bag ready with things such as important documents, Fill up your vehicle with gas or charge it right now is a good time to do it. But don't forget about your pets too. Make sure you got all their food, all their documentation that you need, and of course, grab your pet. And of course, we're also looking for power outages. So prepare now for some power outages. Charge your devices, put batteries in your flashlights, get signed up for your county's emergency alerts, and buy some non-perishable food at the store tonight, because over the next 10 days, we're dealing with a lot of rain, and those winds tomorrow will be very serious, Alex.
Yeah, and Brendan, we just learned that the Department of Water Resources is activating their Flood Operations Center. What the heck does that mean? That doesn't seem good.
The Flood Operations Center, it's not necessarily a good thing. It means there's a lot of flooding going on. But the Flood Ops Center that's activated as a way to coordinate state and local response to floods here in California. Not necessarily just particularly for Northern California. It can happen anywhere in the state. But what it does is it makes sure that everybody's talking to each other and nobody's working kind of solo or in a silo.
That makes sense. And this was part of our mega flood series, talking about the increased possibility of devastating floods in California due to climate change. And we want to be very clear,
not a mega flood.
Not a mega flood situation, but it is important for you to be prepared for the worst case scenario. And we covered everything from how the state is preparing to how you can be informed on how to evacuate. So you can also catch our mega flood special. It airs on ABC 10 Plus streaming app for Roku and Amazon Fire at 7, which is just right after this show. Brendan, thank you so much. And we will be getting a final check of our weather at the end of the show. Thank you. All right, let's go ahead, because moving on to our next story, because some of us have been wondering what else is the state doing to prepare for all of this rain, snow, and wind? Tonight, the governor's office tells us that the state is ready to deploy to any hospitals or healthcare facilities that might need help. Ambulance strike teams are on standby, and they are directing Californians to have an emergency kit, which includes, of course, flashlights and a full tank of gas. Morgan Reiner explains why.
As the clock struck midnight on New Year's Eve, Northern Californians were dealing with downed trees, power lines, and flooded roadways. This is what Highway 99 looked like on Sunday. Officials found a body inside of a car swept away by the water.
Climbed to the top of my car. It just, the water was rising, and the firefighter showed up with a big truck. And they told me, save yourself, the water is rising, you have to leave the area.
One day of clear skies and sunshine is what separates that storm from the one expected to hit Northern California on Wednesday, before heavy rain makes its way down to San Diego on Thursday. County officials warning everyone to be cautious if they need to hit the roads.
We say turn around, don't drown, and there's a reason for that. You know, floodwaters are pretty dangerous. When you're driving through standing water, you don't know how deep it is, and you don't know how fast the water's moving.
California Governor's Office of Emergency Services said in a press release that they are prepping flood fighting materials. They said the State Operations Center is currently operating 24 hours a day to support regional and county emergency operations centers.
And the governor's office of emergency services says that they are stationing crews in Southern California where the rain is expected to make its way later on in the week. You know, we already have a full list of resources ready for you in your area. You can just text the word storm to 916-321-3310, and we'll be right back after this. Before we go, of course, we want to give you a final check of your weather here at 6:30. Brendan, the main question that I have is this storm going to be worse than what we saw?
I think in some ways it'll be the same in a lot of ways. We had 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts in Sacramento on Saturday, and that's what we're going to see again. You can see these numbers are underdoing it because I'm telling you, some of these wind gusts are going to be 50 to 60 miles an hour across the valley, which again is identical to what we had on Saturday, except it's going to last longer. And then in terms of rain, we might get a little less rain than what we saw with the previous storm, but the problem is rivers have not had time to come back down to pre-storm levels. So we're not starting from, we'll say, 0 with the rain. We're starting from, we'll say, an arbitrary 2, and then adding more rain on top of that. So again, rivers are already running high and fast. They're going to continue to be running high and fast. Now is the time to prepare for flooding. Have a go bag ready, important documents, birth certificates, social security cards. Fill up your vehicle with gas or charge it tonight. Don't forget about your pets and their food, their needs. Prepare now for power outages too. Because of that wind that we had, charge your devices, get canned, non-perishable food tonight. And then sign up for your county's emergency alerts. That's a great way to stay informed.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Brendan, thank you so much. Of course, we have everything that you need to know on abc10.com. You can also text the word storm. It's that easy. We will send you everything you need to know for your area. Thank you so much for joining us. Please stay safe, and a huge thank you to our crews who are out there working. We appreciate it. Hey, it's Alex. Just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. I really love hearing from everyone, and I hope that you'll stay in touch. Reach out to me on Facebook at AlexBellTV, or you can email me at tothepoint@abc10.com, or you can even send me a text message at 916-321-3310.